Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video we are learning how to use Excel. Excel is a spreadsheet software that is needed by everyone and anyone. So we have 4 parts of this video. First is how to use the Microsoft Excel interface, which involves the ribbon and the worksheet. Next is how to enter and format data, which involves entering, importing and formatting data. Then the basic formulas and functions in Excel. And lastly, the types of charts we have in Excel, which involves creating charts and graphs. So stay tuned guys. So for part 1, we'll be working with the Excel interface. And when you open Excel after installation, this is the first thing that shows up on your screen to show the recent works you've had, your pinned work, and so on and so forth. So this is the home tab, this is the new tab, this is for open, this is for info, this is for saving your documents, and this is what shows up when you click on file. So if I click on this back arrow to take me to the workbook I've opened earlier, but I can just open this blank workbook, what we'll be using for our practice. So I just want you guys to stay with me on this part 1. So the first thing we are going to learn here is the parts of Excel interface. The first part is the ribbons. So under the ribbons we have several tabs. We have the file tab, we have the home tab, we have the insert tab, we have the page layouts, we have formulas, we have data, we have review, we have view, and we have help tab. File tab is what we worked on previously, and I've explained what you guys need to know about the file tab actually. So we'll just move on to the home tab. On the home tab we have the way we can paste our file. So for instance, if I copy this, although there's nothing there, and I want to paste it, so I have the options to paste values alone, to paste formulas, to paste different options to actually paste my document, and that's what it looks like. So after that we have where we can copy as picture, we can cut our cells, and we can format the cells. So formatting painter, we're going to get there, but there is a very important feature in the home tab on Excel. So this category, it falls under clipboard. Then we have the fonts, then we have the alignment, then we have the number, we have the style, we have cells, and we have editing, then add-ins. So for fonts, for instance, if I type my name here, which is Odunthedatagirl, and I go to the next and I click on and I type Aliu there, so this particular box that has Odunthedatagirl is a cell, and the cell is known as A1, which is column A, row 1. So columns are represented by letters and rows are represented by numbers. So for instance, the way it's showing A1 here in this name box shows that this is column A, row 1, and this is column B, row 1. So if I write another person's name, maybe baby girl, we'll see that in the name box is showing as B2, which is column B, row 2. So if I click on all the rows on this one, we can see that that is like row 1, and then if I click on this, it is column A. So columns are vertically represented and are represented by letters, while rows are horizontally represented and are represented by numbers. I think that's very easy to actually understand. So we understand what cells mean, what reference mean. This A1 is a reference. If I do something like this, when I want to reference the cell, I'll reference it as A1 column B2, because that's the first column and row, A1 and B2. So when we get to using functions and formulas, we'll actually understand that. So secondly, I want us to know that this part, this file, home, insert, and so on, is the ribbons, and this one is the worksheet. So under the worksheet we have cells, rows, and we have sheets, and this is sheet 1. This is, if I click on this add icon, I can add as many sheets as possible, and the whole document itself is a book, is a workbook. So this sheet 1 is a worksheet, this sheet 2 is also a worksheet, and then this book, what you're seeing here, is a workbook. A workbook comprises of several sheets, and that's what we need to know about the worksheet. I think that's very easy to explain, that's why I explained it first. Let's go back to sheet 1. to continue our explanation. So for instance, in this font, if I want to make this whole thing bold, I'll just click on B and it makes it bold automatically. If I click on I, it changes the font to italic. I want you guys to pay attention to this and where the cursor is actually clicking on. Then for if I want it to be underlined, if I click on U also, it will underline. And if I want the font to be bigger, you can see that the fonts are bigger already, but we don't want to do that. Let's just leave it the way it is meant to be and work with that. So if I want the font size to be bigger without doing anything, I'll just come here and do that. And if I want to take it back, I'll just click on Ctrl Z. If I don't want to do that, I'll just come back here and reduce it back. Then if I want the color of my values to be in another color, you can see it is called shading font color. And if I want the font background to be in another color as well, you can see. So that's just, let's change it back to white. That's just what this particular, let's change this one also to black. So that's what this particular means. If I want, this is for alignment. If I want my cells to be in the middle, if I want them to be on the side, I don't know if you guys can see what I am doing, but this is what alignments mean. If I want to merge the cells, maybe I want to merge the cells together. I want to merge the two cells now, it to cancel what is on this column B and just leave what is on column A. So let's just do that. You can see it's just Odunthedatagirl. And if we want to take it back, we just Ctrl Z. So we are back to our practice. So here we can change our data types. Can change as many data types as we want, format them. We can add decimal numbers and reduce the decimal numbers here. We can add percentage sign, commas, and so on and so forth. So if I want to format this document, there is the conditional formatting where we can format by color scales, by icon sets, by whether they are greater than a value or less than a value, or the top. Let's say you want to arrange the top 10 students in your class, then you use this conditional formatting. It's a very important feature in Excel. So if I want to format this data as a table, this little 2 columns and 2 rows of data as a table, I'll just come here and click on, let's say click on this and let them know that my data has headers. So Odunthedatagirl is an header and then Aliu is an header. So if I don't want it to have headers, if I click on Ctrl Z, I'll just click on this again and not click on my table as headers, and you can see that it's showing as column 1, column 2. So I can just change this column 1 to surname, this column 2 to first name. So this makes a lot of sense. If I open this drop down now, I'm going to see all the list of people under the column, under the title, under the header. So it makes a lot of sense, and we can always edit our table to the kind of whatever design we want it to have. So that's just what we have about a table. So we can just Ctrl Z again to take us back to where we were coming from. We don't want headers or anything. So this is where we were, right? This is where we were, and we're already at the point of cell style. So if you want this thing to have, like, probably people that failed now wanted to have the particular color, we just highlight the cells and change them. Like I highlighted this one, you can see. So Excel is a very interesting application that I feel like everybody should learn, because no matter what you do, you'd actually need Excel in your life. So if you want to insert a cell now, maybe you want to insert a cell to the right or to the left or above. For instance, if I want to insert a cell, a whole row, I'll just click on entire row and it will help us insert 2 cells because I highlighted 2 cells. If I highlighted just one and I click on insert and I click on insert sheet rows, it will actually insert just one. So that's just how insert works. Then if I want to delete cells, so the cell I highlighted, if I want to delete it, it's just automatically tell me if I want to shift the cells up or I want to delete entire rows. So if I click on shift cell up, it will only shift the 2 cells I highlighted up, and then the remaining cells on the remaining columns will still be intact. Then we have the format here where we can format row height. I really use this one for my work when I want to make the row height as high as possible. Can you see? So that's just what formatting the cell. You can format the width, you can auto fit the row height, and so on and so forth. You can hide your rows, just highlight them and come here and click on it. So we have the auto sum features. This is very important for statistical analysis. Your data, even if you're not a data analyst and you want to like get a sum of the sales you made in your business for the past 1 month, just highlight the sales and click on this. It will help you automatically add all values together for average, for count, for minimum and for maximum. Then there are tons of functions actually. So there are a lot of functions for statistical analysis and their usage. I also have the autofill function. Let me type one here. If you are working with this, if I click on this box, click on series, and I want it to end at number 100. If I click on stop value and click on OK, it will read down. So the reason why it's reading as a row is because of the way I set it to be. If I want it to be as a column and I click on 100 as well in a column, as you can see, it stops at number 100. So if you want to just list your work to from number 1 to number 200, number 2000, and so on and so forth, you automatically will be able to do that. So you also have the clear. So if I want to clear all in this cell now, because I highlighted just this cell, it's clear just that cell. If I highlight column C and I click on clear all, it will clear everything. And if I have format on the cells as well, it can also clear the format, clear content, clear hyperlinks, and so on and so forth. So that's just what the clear feature explains. So as you can see, I just clicked on it and I'm dragging it, so it's going to stop on this 100. And if I click on clear all, it will also clear it. So we're back to our initial data entry. Mind you, we're just practicing to know what Excel interface look like, and then we can sort and arrange. So if I click on this, it will arrange the values alphabetically. As you can see, it's working with the first column, and baby came up and Odunthedatagirl came down. So that's how it works. And you can also find and replace. For instance, if I want to find baby, I'll just click on baby and click on find all. If I want it to match the entire case, I can do that. If I want it to match the entire cell content, I can also do that. So that's literally what the home tab looks like, and this is where you're going to be doing most of your formatting and editing. If you're going to be cleaning data and so on and so forth, so you're going to be doing most of your work. Not all your work, but most. So yeah, if you want to insert pictures, this is basically for data visualization. You want to insert charts and so on. So when we get to the fourth topic, because I remember this is basically the first topic and I want us to really go one after the other, I would get back here and explain what the insert tab really means. Then we have the page layout tab where we can arrange our page the way we like. We can give it a theme, we can make it look as beautiful as we want it to be. We can give our page a background depending on the kind of background we want. So you can do as many things as possible. I barely use this one because it's not really, I don't really do a lot of beautification to my Excel workbooks and so on. So this one is for maybe you had a visual and you don't want the visual to overlap your work, so you just bring it backward or bring it forward. So when you get to insert, when you get to data visualization, actually would still work with that. So we have the formula, like I said earlier, you can insert a function. So automatically when I clicked on insert a function, it closed what I was doing and opened inserted a function. So once you insert a function, you have to activate a function by the is equal to sign. So when I click on this is equal to sign, I can do as many things as possible. For instance, if I want to concat column A and column B together, I'll just click on is equal to sign and then click on. Once I click on concat is, we can have a video. to explain what functions are and the kind of functions we have. But this concat function concatenates two cells together, so it joins them together and then it automatically brings out a bracket. As you can see, brings out the bracket. So A3, like I said, that's the cell reference, comma. You can add a space in between to make it easier for you to work with when concatenating, and then B3. So can you guys see that now? It automatically joined cell A3 and cell B3 together. So if I do this, it will flash fill the next cells. So if I have 1000 cells and I want to concat them, that's how it works, and that's how functions work. It makes work easier and faster for you to use. So you can see the recent functions you use, the financial functions for accounting, and the logical functions for if, and false, and so on and so forth. So functions and formulas are like a very broad topic on Excel, and if you want me to make a video on that, you can just drop it in the comment section. So we have the data tab where we can get our data. Maybe we don't want to type, right? I don't want to enter my data. In fact, I have my data processed already from somewhere and I want to get it from another Excel workbook. Following these steps, you see that it's already loading, and if I click on that import this thing, if I click on from Excel workbook, so as you can see, it has opened where it will show us only Excel files. So I really do not. Okay, I think I have one. This is a lighter capstone project for a boot camp that ended recently. I'm going to make the tutorial video now. I did the dashboard very soon. Just stay tuned to my channel, turn on the notification bell, you would see the video very soon. So if I open this data set, it's an Excel data set, it will create new set of sheets in this workbook and it will import the data there. So we'll just wait for it to import. Still loading, and that's what get data works with. Instead of trying to type your data in the local manner, you can click on select multiple items. So we have the customer data and the sales data. So we'll just click on both and it will show us the preview of the data like it is evaluating here. And after showing us the preview, we'll see what we want to work with in case we need to like transform the data or not. But we're not working with data cleaning today. I have a video on data cleaning on my channel, so if you want to learn how to clean data with Excel, you can just go there. So instead of clicking on load, click on load to, so we know where data sets are going to show. So now we're showing that only create connection. It will most likely not show as a table or as a sheet once we click on only create connection. So click on table and this new worksheet and then click on OK. It has already created a sheet for sales data, and we'll just like let it load and do its thing. Yes, that's created the two tables and it's actually like going to take a little bit of time, so you can also get your data that way. If not that, I opened a number of sheets earlier. If I click on import as a sheet, it's meant to just import automatically. So that's what getting data means, and that's what the data feature means. See that it has opened as a table already. Once I click on this to be able to select subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell if you want to see me do a data analysis video tutorial on this data set. So next, text to column. Let's go back to our practice work, but I want to divide this again. So now it's showing as a formula. I'll just Ctrl+C it and then come to this next part, go to our home tab and open the drop down on paste and paste just the values. So it's not more pasting as a formula anymore. If you want to leave it as a formula, just in case the data set is real time and uploading on its own, you can leave it as a formula. But because I want to show you guys how to divide the values again. You can use the function split, but you can also use this text to column, which is very easy to use. You don't need to know how to use formulas or this thing to work with it. So once I opened it, it showed me the delimiter I need to use, and because it is a space delimiter, I clicked on just space. If I don't click on space, it won't split. So once I do that and I click on finish, you see that automatically the cells they've splitted already again. So we can also remove duplicates. We can check the model, and we can consolidate. We can do as many things as possible on the data part. We can group our data and group the data. Then this review part is just where we check for spellings, we check for technical issues that we had, and we can also protect our sheets, protect our workbook. If I want to protect this sheet now and I click on this, it's just this sheet that will be protected, and I can put a password there. And if I want to protect the whole workbook, that is all the sheets in this workbook, I'll also do this by putting a password there. So for view, it's just to show how you want your worksheet to look like, and for help it's for asking questions. On this particular bob icon is very important. For instance, if I click on duplicates now, and you see showing duplicate values, if there are duplicate values, you'll be able to like remove them. So that is what we need to know about the worksheet and the ribbons. So I hope you guys understand what Excel look like now. So we're going to go into the next phase of this video, which is part 2 of the course outline, entering and formatting data. So the part 2 involves entering and formatting data, which we've practiced most of them in part 1. So we'll just give a quick recap. So for instance, let's continue typing. If I type Odunthedatagirl here on this page and I click on enter, I already have it. And if I want to format it, like I said, the format feature most times will change the fonts, increase in italics. I've done most of these things in the part 1, but I'll just, like I said, I'm just going to give a recap of what we did. So I think I've not done anything like applying formats, some formats. So just do that. So this, if I use the autofill feature here, so I'll add a series, and then for columns, and I'll add a stop value of 100, or yes, just 100, and click on OK. So as you can see, it auto-filled from 1 to 100, and so I'll just delete the cells. I'm just showing you guys the simple way around the whole Excel thing. So I just right clicked on my laptop and it showed this feature. So if I delete this, it will ask me to shift cell forward and so on and so on and so forth. So I'll just shift the cells up. So we have our 1 to 100 from column C downwards. So we can just like control A. No, we don't have to control. We can just use our cursor to drop this whole thing down to highlight the 1 to 100 and change the data type from general to, you can change it to a currency. So as you can see, showing as 1 naira, 2 naira. If I want to reduce the decimal point, I will reduce it. If this is to increase it, actually, if I want to reduce it, I'll use this right arrow. So now it's showing just 0.0. Just have the nairas. We want it to be formatted as a currency, right? This is what we have. So if I reduce it, we have the usual. So this makes a lot of sense already. So that's literally what entering and formatting data means. So we'll just look for how to, like, for instance, let's use this one. If I want to wrap the text, I'll just click on wrap text, and the text is wrapped automatically. So for aligning as well, I said it in the beginning of this video, you want to align this data, and I do it like this. As you can see, it is properly aligned. So that's basically what entering and formatting data means. And we'll just move down to formulas. Like I already even explained all these things, because formulas involves starting with an is equal to sign. So this is an is equal to sign. Once you type this formula, once you do this, you can perform any form of um any form of operations, whether arithmetic operations or concatenation. So you can just do some C1, comma C2, and close. So automatically it has added that value for us. And if you do a drop down, if you do something like this up to 100, it will keep adding. So now you just copy those cells. It did not do a flash fill. So flash fill, as you can see, this one is showing as C3, C4, that means it's just adding the cells. And if you don't want it to do something like that at the beginning, we'll just put a $sign. If we put this $sign before the column and before the row, and then do our drop down, you will see that column 2, column 1 and column 3 is adding, and so on and so forth. So that's how it works with flash fills and formatting and so on and so forth. So apart from using the is equal to sum, the sum feature, you can also just do is equal to, like I said, for every formula and function you have to use the is equal to sign first, then plus C2. As you can see that we have the same value as this. So if I do a quick drop down, we might not get the same value because we did not put the $sign in the column and the row for the 100. You see what we have here is not even, what we have here is C2 plus C3 instead of C1 plus C3. So I don't know if you guys can understand what I'm doing. So that's just how it works. In case you want to subtract, let's say you want to subtract H2, H1 minus H2 minus F1. So you can see that it has already automatically subtracted the values that we are working with, and that's literally what formulas and functions mean. You can also find the mean value. For instance, if you want to find the sum of this value now, we'll just do something like equals to sum into brackets C1 column C100. Let's see what comes out of it. So it gave us a sum of C1, cell C1 to cell C100, and that's just, so if you want to get the average value too, you can always do that. AVG or average C1 column C100, and we get the average value We want to find the minimum value too. We would also start with is equal to sign. Make sure you do not forget that, and click on the function, double click on the function. Then again, you do the same thing to get these are just statistical analysis or summarization. So because we don't want to be lost, we don't want to be confused, so just give it a name here. Then the next one mean, then the next one max. Those are like the basic functions we need. So is equals to max C1 column C100, not C1000, C100. So as many values you have in a cell will help you to determine the kind of analysis you want to do, and functions are very important. If you want me to drop a video on functions and formulas, just drop a comment in the comment section, and that's all we need to know about formulas and functions. So we've actually learned a lot in this video, and I hope that you also learn as much as I did while creating this video. There is the autosum feature. These are the features under the autosum features: the sum, average, mean and max. And we've gotten everything we need to know as regards functions formula as a beginner trying to get to know what Excel looks like for the first time. So we're just going to go into creation of charts, and we'll just use this data set because it is a full-time, it's a basic data set, and to make the work easier and faster for us. So when you want to create a chart, make sure your data sets are clean enough. You've performed the necessary analysis you need to perform. You've validated your data, and you just want to draw out insight. To create a visualization or a chart, you have to summarize what you're working with. So we would come to this table design. We are using this sales data sheet, and then we'll just click on summarize with pivot table. So we'll summarize the data sets in a new worksheet, and I'll just show you guys what we are doing. So maybe we want to get the product and the unit price and the quantity. So we'll just come here and drag so you just click on the products. So clicking on the product, you see that it's already summarized. Everything makes sense now. So we can always create another table. So we'll come to this insert pane. Why is this one showing row labels instead of the products? So it's not meant to show row labels anyway, it's meant to show products. Just change it to products. So we already have our pivot table. Just come to the insert tab and check for recommended charts for this pivot table. So we can see that there are recommended charts already. This is the most recommended chart, but if you want to use a line chart, which is not recommended because it's not in real time, there's a rule to data visualization. The best you can use is column chart or a bar chart. So we can use a bar chart instead. We can just use the column chart that was recommended. So this is a simple chart. We'll just do a little bit of formatting in case you don't even have, like, you don't have the luxury of time to format. You can just weigh your options here, check the one that works with you in case of data labels, background, and so on and so forth. So that is just basically what the creating of charts means. If you actually want a one-on-one training, you can always reach out to me. My email will be in my bio, and you'll be in the description box as well to reach out to me for personal training on Excel and so on and so forth. So can always check for other charts as well and work with that. I hope you guys know what Excel looks like now and understand the basics of Excel, because it's just like the fundamentals of Excel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.